First, I want to apologize because I grabbed the wrong clothes, so I ended up visiting Wally World this morning. This is not my normal attire for preaching. You know, it was either this or find somebody else last minute, so I apologize first and foremost for that. The second thing is the most important thing you need to know, and is that no matter what I say or do, Jesus loves you more than you could possibly know. I don't care where you are in your place with God. He loves you more than you could ever possibly imagine. The third thing I need you to know is that I go by what I believe God is interpreting me to say. What He wants me to say to you, it is my opinion and what I believe He's telling me to tell you. So it might not fit you. Hopefully it does. Hopefully at least it will make you think. I believe that when we embrace the Sabbath, that's a twofold deal. We are supposed to spend time with God on the Sabbath, but we forget the other part of that. The Sabbath was made for a day of rest for man. And God did that for a reason. Because you can't go out and help others if you're not recharged yourself. If you've ever flown, when you get on a plane, one of the first things they tell you is that if your masks drop, your oxygen masks drop, you put yours on first, and then you put yours on your kids or whoever else is with you. Because you can't nurture them, you can't help them if you're passed out. It doesn't work that way. When I was married, my husband used to try and work on the Sabbath, and he was working construction at the time, and he finally would tell the guys, forget it. They cut more cords on saws, everything went wrong, nothing went right. He knew that it was supposed to be a day of rest, and he finally told the guys, you know what? We're not working on Sunday. That's our day of Sabbath. Now, don't get me wrong either, because there are doctors and nurses and firemen and policemen and health professionals like myself that have to work on the Sabbath, and if you get your arm cut, you don't want to say, well, guess what? It's going to have to wait till tomorrow. I'm going to bleed to death because there's no one on call. They have to work. What you do then is you find a different time for your Sabbath. We were also taught that when you do the Sabbath, if they want you to work 4 Sundays, no, you don't have 4 Sundays that you can do, that you can spare at another congregation or even your own. You have a Sunday that is your Sabbath, and that is considered time spent. If you take time to listen to God on the Sabbath, that is the time that you will be recharged. That is the time that He wants you to be recharged. He wants us to come to church and worship together, and you will learn or be ministered to through different parts. I love the music. I always love the music. I can't sing for nothing. But that's why music ministers to me, and I really appreciated your music this morning. Bill and Sharon always help me out when I start feeling antsy coming down here, because believe me, the week before I come down, everything that can go wrong does. Whether it be stuff at work, stuff at home, or everything in between. And this week it was piled so deep I didn't have a car to use even until Friday. So, I mean, things were just, it's like, okay, God, if you want me to go, I'm going to go, but we've got to work on this and get it figured out. We need to care for ourselves and understand that we are not to ask others. Bad example, I know, but sometimes our kids' rooms aren't as clean as we'd like them to be. The Sabbath isn't a day for them to clean. It's for a day for them to rest and relax and do what they enjoy. I have one daughter that her favorite thing to do would be on the Sabbath would be to pull weeds. She loves to pull weeds. She loves her plants, and she loves to pull weeds and make things look beautiful, and that's relaxing to her. Now, there are others here amongst us that to pull weeds would definitely be work. And it's like, this is not going to happen. This is not my Sabbath. This is not my way. So we need to realize that everybody doesn't relax the same way. But in pulling weeds, she hears God. In reading books, I hear God. In quiet time alone, we hear God. Sometimes some of you may go to Silver Dollar City, you may go to a show, you may do nothing, but you don't say, I have a pile of laundry, I have to get it done. No, you don't. It'll still be there tomorrow, I assure you, I found that out. But work we can make it so that we have work 7 days a week. And there are some things that have to be done on the Sabbath. But there's also time for God. And He wants us to rest. He wants us to relax. And He wants us to do that so that we can hear Him in ways that are unbelievable. When I have three grandsons actually, but I have one that I bring from his father's every other week. And driving home this past week from his dad's to his mom's house, where he goes to school at, we noticed the sky every morning. And oh, it was beautiful. It was blues and purples and pinks and just a real good time. And since he's going to a different school, we haven't had our prayer time. And in the car was our prayer time. And so we're starting that up again. And that is a little mini Sabbath for us. It is our time where we join together and do what we want to do. And I have another grandson, he's also with me today, and he likes to make me laugh. He comes up with the goofiest things sometimes, just out of the blue. He'll start dancing in front of you and they do the floss. I'm not demonstrating, okay? But they do the floss and they do all kinds of goofy things and get, to make me laugh because things really start getting me down, and then they just start acting goofy so that they can make me laugh. And when things continue to go wrong, it's like you get busier. Or I do anyway, I get busier and busier, and I got to get this done, I got to get this done, I got to get this, I didn't bring the right clothes, so, I got to do this and I got to do that. But when I took time last night even to sit on the bed and just think about what God wanted you to hear today, it's that one of the commandments is to keep the Sabbath holy. And that does mean our time with God, very definitely. But it also means a time for rest. God took time to rest. I don't think any of us think we're better than God. So He wants us to rest too. And it is what is needed. Our bodies need that. Not just to sleep at night, but the time away from our work, the time away from our other doing, the time to just be. And when you just be with God and are just quiet or just enjoying it, that's what charges you up. Sometimes you go to church and you feel more charged up just by being there. You haven't gone for a while and you think, and then you finally get back into the routine of going and you realize how much you were really missing just by being with other people, even though you don't speak to them all. You don't have to speak to everybody in the congregation every Sunday in order to be ministered to. You don't have to hear from everybody in the congregation. But being here with the Spirit, and the Lord is everywhere, but sometimes we take more time to stop and listen when He says something to us when we're in a group of people, or after church when we go out with people, or just spending our time alone with people. And we realize what we need to do. This weekend it's a joy for me to come down. I love it down here. I get enthused every time I think about coming down here. I call this going home because I love it down here, and you can't understand how much it means to me. I only have one client at work, and I work with individuals that are mentally and physically challenged and can't be out on their own, but are working towards that. And my client said Friday before I left, she says, "I'm going to miss you." And I said, "I'll be back Monday night." And she knows I will be. But she misses me when I'm not there, and that's kind of a good feeling. But I'm also one of them that challenges her, and when she starts doing something wrong, I'll say, are we supposed to be doing that? Shouldn't we be doing something else? And stuff like this. We need to challenge each other. But sometimes we need to challenge each other and say, it is the Lord's day. It is time to rest. It is time to sit down. It is time to listen. And sometimes He does tell you on the Sabbath, I should call somebody. I should call this person. I should go visit this person. You don't know why, but you just really take the time to listen, and He tells you what you need to do, and you go and do it. Sometimes it's that day, sometimes it's during the week. But I know I'm not the only one that's had somebody come to mind and say, I need to call that person. Or I need to go do this. I need to go do that. In listening to God, we need to listen every day. But on the Sabbath, we need to slow down, break the cycle of all the work that needs to be done, and take the time to listen, relax, and honor God by honoring the Sabbath.